impromptu little sort of review of the Children in Need little special mini episode we just got recently. Destination Skaro is called, although I don't know if it's been called that in any official capacity, but I believe that's what Russell D. Davies called it in a Instagram post, so I believe that's what it's going to be known as. I wasn't originally planning on talking about this mini episode, mainly because I wasn't sure about if I had all that much to say, but I was considering, I was looking at how I'm going to cover the 60th anniversary specials, because obviously I want to talk about them on the channel. But basically, I work in a bar. I work in hospitality. I work in a pub. And so, if you're familiar with that industry, you'll know that it's very difficult to get Saturday nights off unless there's a good reason. Certainly not 2 Saturdays in a row in December. And of course the Saturday in November. But the two in December are the big ones really. You know, that business is that industry is. December's the big month. But that's beside the point, really. The point being that I won't be able to watch the majority of the specials live, basically. Unfortunately, where I'm working is more local, and it's not sort of city centre or anything, so it's not too late of a finish. But I won't be able to watch them live on broadcast, so it'll only be sort of late, very late in the evening that I'll get to watch those. What I'm planning on doing is watching them and then recording my basic first thoughts, which hopefully I'll be able to upload on the following Sunday, is the idea. Again, no promises with that though. And then a little bit afterwards, after all three, I will I'll do a full, more of an in-depth review discussion video. I think that's probably what I'm going to do. Anyway, that's not what this video is about. This video is about the Children in Need minisode, which, as I say, I wasn't intending on talking about, but I thought, what the hell? I'm going to be talking about some of the other stuff. I might talk about the Daleks and colour that we're going to get. So I thought, let's talk about it. But I'm glad I waited a few days because my thoughts on this one are a little bit complicated. The general gist is that I wasn't a fan. Basically, I didn't hate it, but I think there are a couple of things, and they're not the big elephant in the room, which I will get to. I don't want to have this video drag on. I want to keep these thoughts fairly concise, but I will talk about the main thing that's got everyone in lots of arguments and discussions. But I wasn't. That's not really the reason why I didn't care for this much. The main reason being that I felt that we were told it wasn't going to be a comedy sketch, but it kind of was, and we probably should have. I didn't expect it to be super serious on Children in Need, but I do think the fact that Russell said it's not a comedy skit, I think was not far off being a complete lie, and I don't understand. I understand lying about. I'm sure he said that they've released false rumours and lied about certain things upcoming for the specials and the Shooties series and Shooties seasons and stuff. And I understand little lies for those, but I don't understand why you would say that this isn't a comedy sketch. If anything, I think if you said that it was more of a comedy sketch, and then people would be pleasantly surprised that some of it is played straight. That's more of an expectation thing, I suppose, but it just seemed odd to me that that was how it was presented beforehand. Also, I thought that the music in this little mini episode from Murray Gold was, to put it bluntly, absolutely horrendous. I just watched it again just recently before deciding to record this, just to refresh my memory, and it's just... I have had a lot of concerns about the state of the show upcoming, with the specials and with the stuff with Judy Gatwa, and to tell you the truth, I've not been very excited for what is upcoming. I want to be, but just stuff we've seen, especially in regards to behind the scenes and who's going to be involved behind the scenes, it's just not interested me. It's not enthused me, and I've not spoken about that on this channel. I did at one point consider doing a video about my sort of concerns for the upcoming RTD2 era and such, but ultimately I felt that that's not really what I want this channel to be. I want it to be... It's an ASMR channel, you know. It's people aren't here to hear me moan about Doctor Who, and I want to enjoy Doctor Who. And some of my fears and some of my worry, not fears, but concerns have been allayed. I thought the trailer was really good. The announcement of Kate Herron and, I forget her name now, the writing partner. That's really exciting news for the new season. But I was one of the people who was very much against the idea of Murray Gold coming back, and when it was confirmed, my heart kind of sank. And that's no disrespect to Murray Gold. He is a fantastic, accomplished composer, and he's written some incredible music for the show, but also he composed for Doctor Who for 12 years. You know, there is no reason why he should be back. I have heard everything I need to hear from Murray Gold in the Doctor Who world, and the tracks we heard from the 60th anniversary concert a couple of weeks ago didn't do much to allay those concerns. I don't care for the new theme tune. I think that the 15th Doctor's theme sounds like a rip-off of I Am the Doctor, to be honest. I didn't mind Ruby Sunday's theme, but, you know, 1 out of 3 is not a great hit rate. And the music in this, I mean, Murray Gold, his strength has never been comedy music, right? He's very orchestral, he's very bombastic, we know this. And his comedy music has always been, I think, his weakest stuff for Doctor Who. It's not bad necessarily, but it's a bit obvious, and it's clearly not. I just don't think it's where he does his best work, and I think this is the worst comedy music I've heard from him in his entire Doctor Who works. I don't understand why this music was used. Because if it's not a comedy skit, why are we playing clown music? You know, what's... It just doesn't fit with the scene as performed by David Tennant and Mohan Rizwan and you know, Julian Bleacher's Davros, who's basically playing it straight. Obviously Mohan Rizwan is more of a comedian and comedy actor, so it's understandable that he's not... His performance is a bit more comedic, and Tennant can do comedy, but I really did not care for the music at all. I gotta say, I wasn't much won over by the 14th Doctor, what we've seen of him. I suspect I probably won't be in the special. I hope I am. Listen, I don't want to moan about these things. This is why I don't want this video to be too long, because it's not a positive video overall, and I don't want to sit here and, you know, enough people are negative about Doctor as it is. I don't want to contribute to that, but you know, I don't know. I hope that the 14th Doctor wins me over, but so far I'm not seeing it. I'm not convinced, and this little special didn't do much for that. And yeah, I don't know. I don't think that this was a necessary thing. I think the idea of where did the Daleks get the plunger from, what happened there, and it being played like this, I think if you're going to do it, make it a very deliberate, obvious comedy sketch, and you know, people can either it's then very easily differentiated in terms of who considers it canon. Some people have the mindset of only certain things are canon, and a lot of the ancillary media isn't canon. Certainly stuff that's for, you know, little mini things for comic relief and children in need and stuff like that. Some people have the opinion that everything is canon and nothing is non-canon. But this kind of doesn't really. It's not played fully straight, and it's not a full comedy sketch. It's trying to be both, and it didn't land for me. And then there's the conversation about Davros, and I don't want to go into this too much because, full disclosure, I am a able-bodied man. I'm not disabled. I do have a medical condition. I have a little bit of physical scarring, but I'm not disfigured, and I'm certainly not a wheelchair user. And I do ultimately, having watched the Doctor Who Unleashed that accompanied this, which I thought was good fun, and I'd be glad to have that show back. Confidential was always a great show. It's a show I loved, and I'm very glad that we have a similar sort of thing back in the form of Unleashed. And I thought the Unleashed special that released with this was pretty good. And I absolutely understand and to a large extent agree with Russell T Davies and production team, and the idea that there is a very unfortunate history of using disfigurement and disability and associating evil with that in media and in sci-fi, and Doctor Who has a big part to play in that. You know, especially with the disfigurement, if you look at characters like Sharash or Magnus Greel or Omega or the Borad in Time Lash, where he's defeated by the Doctor essentially bullying him for being ugly because he's disfigured. You know, the show absolutely has a part to play in that very unfortunate, unpleasant trope, and it is a trope that does exist, and Davros does play a part in that. And it's been disheartening to see a lot of people say that. It's been disheartening to see a lot of able-bodied people who don't seem willing to engage with the conversation. From my perspective, and people saying it's not a wheelchair, it's a life support system. It's as if someone who has to rely on a life support machine isn't disabled. Like, surely that is. Again, I don't want to speak for disabled people. I'm not disabled, but Davros is disabled. He's blind. He can only use one arm, and he doesn't have any legs. Like, that is. If that's not disabled, I don't know what is. And he does. That character absolutely has a part to play in that trope and perpetuating that trope. My concern is, I think this change, and if you can get away with it in this specific context because it's pre-Genesis of the Daleks, so sure, he's not had his accident yet. It kind of brushes up shouldn't stop you. And you'll know from looking at my channel that I'm going through Big Finish at the moment, and I'm really enjoying it. Nothing against Big Finish, but the show will always there'll always be something to contradict Big Finish, and that's fine. That's okay. But I think that as good as Julian Bleach is as a performer, if this is what Davros is now, he's just a bloke in a black uniform, and we've got enough of those. And I think Davros is a unique, iconic design. Like, he is iconic. There's people of a certain age who maybe aren't Doctor Who fans, don't maybe watch it on and off, but remember it from their childhood, and what they remember the Daleks, they remember the TARDIS, they remember the long multicoloured scarf, and they remember Davros. They just do. I've seen it with people in my life who aren't Doctor Who fans. They know about Davros. They recognise him. It is an iconic design, and I think that you take away that design, he becomes much less unique, and he's just another guy in a black uniform. And I think the show has enough of those, and I think it removes his association with the Daleks. It removes what makes him unique among Doctor Who villains, and I mean individual character villains, not monsters, villains. And I think that is a shame. I think that's unfortunate. I think the solution to the problem of this trope is to retire Davros as a character, and to say, look, this character is of a trope that we don't want to perpetuate, and it's time for him to rest. We've had great Davros stories in the past. It's not like this story did something incredible with the character. So I don't see why we need to continue using it. I think just retire the character, surely. And I don't think the solution to this trope and there's the associations with it is to take characters that were once part of that trope and make them able-bodied. I think it's to give us more disabled characters who aren't evil, and we've already seen that. The RTD2 era is doing that with Ruth Madeley's character and Lenny Rush. We're already starting to see that in effect, and I think that's much better. I think rather than removing disabled characters who are antagonists, it is giving us more disabled characters who are good and who are protagonists. Surely that is the solution, because I think, and again, I don't mean to talk for disabled people, and maybe this is the wrong way to look at it. But if we're talking about diversity on the wider scale, and the end goal the point of having more inclusivity and diversity in our media, surely is that anyone can be anything, right? And that we're not stopping people from portraying certain roles. That's the idea, right? That's the whole point. And so, whilst it is a problematic trope that disabled people with disfigurements are associated with evil, surely, that we want to get to a point where that can be the case, and maybe, obviously we're not there yet, maybe to get there we have to remove that trope entirely to then, I don't know, my thoughts are complicated, and I've gone on for way longer than I intended to talk about this, but the Davros thing, I just think I think it's absolutely done with the right intentions. I think especially on Children in Need Night, when it's a night looking at helping children, a lot of whom will have disabilities. I think it's absolutely. I understand why they did it. I understand why they did it now, but I think it takes away something from the character, and maybe that doesn't matter. Maybe the character can continue in this new form, and we'll get new Davros stories, and it'll be like this, and it'll be great, and I'll be proven wrong. But I think that I think he needs to be redesigned beyond just a guy in a black costume. I think there needs to be something unique about his look. I think also the fact that you take away all the prosthetics and stuff. I mean, it's great that we are allowing Julian Bleach to perform on camera as himself, because he's a fantastic performer. But it also makes the character much harder to recast in the future. Davros doesn't change as a character; he's always been the same character, but because it's under a prosthetic mask, it's allowed the recasting to sort of. I think in your brain you can understand. You can. It's not as weird when you get a new cast for him. You can sort of believe that Michael Wisher and David Goodison and Terry Malloy and Julian Bleach are all the same character. They're the same person, even though they're not, obviously. But the prosthetics and the fact that it's not a human face helps with that, and it has helped with the longevity of that character and helped him to become recurring. The fact that he's now just a man who looks like Julian Bleach. Well, when Julian Bleach doesn't want to play the part anymore, or becomes too old, or passes away, and you want to continue to use Davros, you have to recast. And I think this, again, in the grand scheme of things, and the point of diversity and inclusivity, and moving on from the past and the stereotypes and the negative associations with this trope, that's not an important issue, but it's something that's going to have to be tackled in the future, surely, unless you decide to retire Davros. And I think that's what you probably should do, but I don't know. Anyway, those are my thoughts on Destination Skaro. Unfortunately, I wish I could be more positive. I am still looking forward to and anticipating the anniversary specials, especially the second one, Wild Blue Yonder, just sounds so intriguing. But yeah, this little mini episode sneak peek didn't do it for me. I didn't much care for it, unfortunately. But anyway, I hope you join me as we continue the anniversary celebrations. I've got a big video I've been working on recently that I'm very hopefully I'm hoping that this video will go out on Wednesday the 22nd, and hopefully I'm crossing my fingers that this big video I've got planned will go out tomorrow on the 23rd. If not, at the very least I hope to get it out before the Star Beast. But I'm not going to say more about that video, you'll have to wait to watch it. But I'm very excited by it. I just hope I can get it done in time. And as I say, I'm going to do, what I'm probably going to do is do a little initial thoughts video for each of the specials, which will go out on hopefully the Sunday, maybe the Monday, and then when all three of them have come out, I will give it a week or so, and then do a full sort of, I think I'll probably do like a proper review, but again, I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do that. And yeah, as well, we're going to continue with the Big Finish main range series, and hopefully some other little videos here and there as well. I'd like to release and make the most of the anniversary celebrations. Although, as I say, I do work in a pub, and it is coming up to December, so I might be very busy. So it may just be that you get the special reactions and the big finish reviews, and that's it. But hopefully I'll get a bit more out as well. But anyway, yes, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for listening. If indeed you're still with me, please do like and subscribe and comment and all those things that help the YouTube algorithms and such. And let me know your thoughts on Destination Skaro. Did you love it? Did you hate it? What do you think about the Davros situation? Please be kind. Please be respectful. Yeah, I will see you all next time. Thank you.